The dog days of summer are not far away, and that means that you will probably be seeing more of your neighbors and their pets, too. But first, some safety tips before you get too close to another pooch, because you never know until you know, Andy Crouppen of Brown & Crouppen is here to help. Andy, of course, the proud owner of a precious little pooch yourself, right?
Yes, I've had dogs my whole life.
Yes, yeah.
I want to clear something up. Anytime we talk about dog bites... What was that?
I think is your dog here?
I think I just sat on him. Anytime we talk about dogs, we get dog owners who think that we are somehow attacking dogs and don't like dogs. Yeah. I've had dogs my whole life. I love my dog.
That was yours up on the screen there a second ago.
Oh, I missed it.
Very cute. Very, very cute.
Thank you, thank you.
So this is proof positive that you have nothing against dogs.
Nothing
You're
at all.
a dog lover.
I have something against people who are irresponsible owners of dogs.
I think we heard your pooch again.
Yeah.
Virginia, what's going on over there?
Anyway.
We'll talk to her in a second.
So anyway, I make no mistake, I love dogs. This is not about dogs. I don't villainize the dogs at all. If a dog is aggressive and a dog is biting people, that's a product of somebody who hasn't either done their homework before they got the dog, or most likely it's just a training issue and you can correct that behavior.
I like the way you've broken this down, though, because you have tips for us this morning, and one side of it is tips for the owner or the controller of the dog. The other side, because there has to be responsibility on this end too, tips for parents and kids who don't know the dog comes up into them in a park, or the dog's running around in a park. Let's start with the owners, though. What can the owners do to try to get the dog to behave a little?
Well, it starts before you even get the dog. Do your research. What kind of dog, if you live in an apartment, what kind of dog does best in a small confined space? Mm-hmm. What kind of dog is better around kids, more or less aggressive? Make sure you know what you're getting yourself into before you even select a dog. Don't just go to the store one day, like we did, unfortunately. Oh, that one's cute, I'll take that one.
Well, that happens, though. A lot of people do that.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, think of the thought you put into buying a car or a house or any other major purchase. Yeah. This dog is going to be with you for a long, long time. And make sure you know what you're getting yourself into.
Is it true that spaying/neutering tends to take the aggressive edge off a bit?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And you should be doing it for other reasons.
Sure.
But for no other reason other than get this dog spayed or neutered if you want to make sure it's not quite as aggressive as it could be. Also, the pet population is growing out of control. There are way more dogs in shelters. Spay or neuter it so it's not out there creating more of a problem and more puppies in shelters that we just don't have space for.
We love to get down on the floor with the dog and wrestle around a little bit and have fun. Aggressive play, you might call it. But then if that's what the dog is used to at home, suddenly when the dog is out in the park with you and there's kids playing around, maybe the dog wants to aggressively play with the kids too.
Right, you got to remember, it's a dog. It doesn't have the intellect to realize,
right.
Okay, I'm playing now, but so while you can play with your dog, you don't want to get too rough, too aggressive, because that dog is going to take that behavior, and when it's playing with somebody else, it doesn't know where to draw the line, and it doesn't know that maybe a kid doesn't have the same pain threshold as its owner, and a kid is frightened, doesn't know that it's playing, and then a kid starts to run away, which brings us, well, we'll get to that a little later. But if a dog does approach you, a strange dog, you don't want to run. You want to kind of slowly back away, and most dogs aren't going to just run after you and attack you. If you kind of slowly back up and don't give it a reason to attack and don't kind of escalate the situation, most of the time they just kind of walk away.
So now we flip the coin to the other side. Now we're thinking about the dog isn't ours, but we're somehow confronted with this dog. So whether it's parents, kids, that's a good tip. Back away slowly instead of running. That just encourages them to chase you. What other tips do you have for that side of things?
Well, remember, all dogs aren't nice. And just like you don't approach a stranger and start talking to them in certain situations, or you don't encourage your kids to do it, don't do it to a strange dog. You don't know. Ask the dog owner, is it okay if I pet your dog? Is it okay if my child pets your dog? Sometimes they'll say to you, maybe not.
Right.
So anyway, you want to make sure you're aware of the situation and ask the owner. You also want to, like we discussed, if a strange dog comes up to you, be careful. Walk away. Don't stick your hand out. Just kind of retreat. It's better safe than sorry in those situations.
This is true for Andy and I, too. Don't bother us when we're trying to sleep or eat. That's true of dogs, right?
That's true. You know, let sleeping dogs lie,
That's
as they
it.
say. You can frighten them and have a bad situation.
The old saying is true. If you have a legal question for Brown and Crouppen, you can email us at greatday@kmov.com. We'll make sure they get